I know that Dana, you have some unbelievable stories in Silicon Valley, and I want to at least start with you. And if we have more time, other people can share. Like, can you share something that was really harsh on you, and then how you overcome it?
Sure. Well, there's a couple of things. One thing I was reading an article is about how African American men or women feel they have to go to meetings with a white male. And I think that's really interesting because when I first started out, I would take my co-founder to all my meetings because I felt like the guy across the table wanted to see another man, and I thought it would help me in fundraising. And so that was like, I was like, oh my God, I totally relate to that. Like, I definitely brought my co-founder. It wasn't the right choice because two people against one VC is like terrible conversation, because the VC never knows who to look at. And so, but I did the same thing, like just as being a female here, you feel like they're mostly male VCs. And I also had like a pretty bad experience, one of my first VC meetings ever. So, I'm fresh green, like young 20s going into a meeting, and it was summer and it was hot and I was wearing a dress, and like I clearly had just come from New York. So I was kind of like dressed up because in New York City, people like don't wear hoodies and look like they rolled out of bed. So I did dress nice for the VC, and he like, and I had really big investors at that time. I had angel investors like Mark Benioff from Salesforce, the CFO of Disney, to like the president of Warner Brothers. Like, I had an insane list of investors, angel investors. And he, like, within 5 minutes kind of looked me up and down, like in a very like not appropriate way. And then was like, how did you get, I just have one question for you. Like, how did you get these massive names to invest in you, And I immediately felt like objectified, like he was insinuating that I slept with them. Like, it was just like a very inappropriate situation. I remember I turned beet red. I didn't know how to, like, I literally wanted to run from the room. Like, didn't know how to, I really wasn't prepared for that. And then later on, I assessed the situation, like, maybe I shouldn't have been wearing a dress. I should have been wearing pants so I look more like manly, like I literally like broke down everything that I did wrong to provoke that sort of reaction from the VC. And I changed a lot. Like, I immediately went to Target and bought like 20-cent t-shirts and like dressed a little bit more masculine to compensate. And then eventually I learned like how to fundraise more appropriately in the Valley. So it definitely, there's definitely some stereotypical, I would say, judgments and stuff that's just like seated in our culture in general. And I think that's like the hardest part, is like, how do we change those innate male, female, race, color, all that stuff that's so embedded in the people, That's my story.
Oh my God. And and it's a big VC, I know the name, I'm not gonna say. Is he still like, do you think he changed a little bit, or do you think they are still doing things like that?
I mean, I think in particular for this VC, he's like a very old man, like 70 years plus. Okay. So it's like, it's not my father's generation that's already kind of sexist, but it's like that grandfather who's like used to the women in the kitchen, like cooking like organic bread. So I don't think he's going to change, because people at that age just don't change. I never even approached any of the other partners about it to like, try to help this man, because I feel like it's impossible. Like, maybe they'll, like, there's things they did at 500 startups as well to kind of help Dave McClure, and they made rules around who we could have in a room. But like with this senior VC that's so famous, there's no way that they were going to make rules around him. And like, he is the fund. So I'm pretty sure he's the same guy. I don't think he's changed. And I never confronted anyone in the fund about it.
Yeah, but I hope what's happening is they are stepping down, and I hope they will step down